No. We're still here. We're not closed.
Yeah,
We're,
not
we're
yet.
not yet. Anyway, we haven't been knocked off, but we're going to be talking about stores closing and stuff like that. But hey, welcome. It's Trash Talk, Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Glad you're here. And all. How you doing?
Peachy,
Are
peachy.
you there?
I was just doing stuff. Put you on mute. I wasn't listening. I was doing stuff.
Multitasking.
Yeah, that's what I do, guys. You guys know. You guys have watched the show long enough to know that I'm busy. Okay,
That's right.
just let me do my thing.
Yes, yeah, we're here. If you're here, that's cool too. But but Ashley, I should say we do want to thank all of you for following our show because we
Yes.
have seen some tremendous increases this past year in our
Yeah.
viewership and you're sharing the show, telling people about us. We love it and thank you very very much.
Yes, absolutely. We want to continue to hear more from you. So, for all our new followers that have found us on TikTok, that's been awesome. Come on over here, watch it. We do a lot of different stuff, but for everybody that's just kind of been watching over the year, man, interact. And I get it. Sometimes you don't really feel like it. You just want to enjoy it and move on. But give a little share, a little thumbs up, a little thumbs down, a middle finger, whatever you want to do, and just be that guy or girl
read
or
between
woman.
the lines, right?
I could care less as long as we hear from you. So,
But no, and a credit to you, Brandon, because of your involvement with TikTok and everything, you've been able to take, our shows usually run anywhere from about, 15 to 20, 25 minutes sometimes, but you'll take little snippets and drop in little, teasers about trash talk. And a lot of people say, hey, those are really cool. Those are fun. It gets
yeah,
a,
it's a fun time. TikTok is probably my favorite app, despite what the government says.
yeah,
And it's great. It's a whole new market. I mean, we can go live on there if we feel like it. One day we will. We'll get Stuart on TikTok. Occasionally, I like to sabotage him and get him on there. Surprise him with a TikTok. But the cool thing about it is you can go up to 10 minutes. So if I wanted to, I could show a whole 10-minute show, half a show and be like, come on. But
right.
it's fun and there's a whole new audience. And I've met some amazing podcasters and authors and really interesting people on TikTok. So it's been great. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, no, and I think Instagram is starting to open up their doors a little bit too to spreading the word about our shows and other shows too. So it's great. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real dinosaur over your shoulder there. I mean,
Look,
Blockbuster.
I miss it. Like I look at Blockbuster and I feel like a moth to a flame, like I'm looking at it and like I could smell it. Like it's beautiful. Like,
Right.
look, Blockbuster, the video stores in general, but Blockbuster, forget the fact that I worked there. That's not what was beautiful about it. But just, I remember going there on a Friday night, you know, packed, packed,
Right.
new releases on the wall, library of DVDs and VHS of just making that decision of how many were you going to get and what were you going to get. And a lot of the Blockbusters would pop popcorn right when you walked in and you could get it for free. And oh my God, it was an experience. And, there was something special about that. Watching like dads and sons and families and, pick movies out. And I miss Blockbuster. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie to you. I miss
And
it.
I remember some of them were like 1 or 2 or 3 day rentals. Some of them were
Yeah.
4, 5, 6 days. But what I used to love too, those were in the days where they had these big bins full of videotapes that were for sale because
Oh,
they would
yes.
rent them for so long and then they would bring in new copies and the old ones would go into a bin and there was a $1 bin and a $2 bin and a $3
Yeah.
bin and you just stock your library with all your favorite movies.
My VHS library at its peak. At its peak. And I'm not talking about things that I recorded because I also used to record almost every wrestling show that came on TV on Monday nights. So I would have like a 9-hour tape or a 10-hour tape of like just WWE, WWF, WCW, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actual VHS movies. Again, VHS, not DVDs. My peak was 650. Yes, true story. And
Whoa.
part of it was from working at Blockbuster. I
Yeah.
got a lot of them. I had this giant, amazing piece of furniture that I wish I still had. I don't think I would have traveled across the country with it, but I wish I still had it. It was beautiful. I got it for free. And it was VHS library, organized library,
Yeah.
and I would use it now probably for books and DVDs and cool stuff in my bedroom. But VHS, I ended up selling all of them. And this is to also show you how old it was. I ended up selling, I think I only have 2 VHS tapes in my life now. And I'm just keeping them because they don't even make these on DVDs and I just want them.
Yeah.
I ended up selling them on eBay back in the eBay days in lots of like 10 and 20. I made decent money off them, but Blockbuster was one of those stores that just was around. It was a big part of our lives, and it was a
And
good
then
time.
once they started going out, then you had the Hollywood
Hollywood Video,
video
Family Video.
family video, all of those started to kind of go by the way. If I'm not mistaken, I think isn't there still
There's
one
one. There's
Blockbuster
one.
store?
There's a documentary on it. Have you watched the documentary on Netflix? It's
I have not.
amazing.
No.
It's called The Last Blockbuster on Earth or something like that. It is an awesome, fun documentary. They interview the owner. It's in this stupid small podunk town. Sorry, I don't know. And it's just a nobody town, but it's how
It's
she
become a
keep
museum, you
yeah,
know.
it's how she keeps the videos and how she finds them. And they still have VHS there, but they also have a ton of DVDs. And she says because some people in the town still have VHS. It's a really cool documentary, and there's something special about it, like totally cool about it.
Yeah. Well, and then kind of the same thing happened with Netflix. Netflix came in where you'd get, your DVDs through the mail or at a store. Drop them off. You go there at 2 o'clock in the morning and drop off the ones that you've watched into a bin, and then little by little they fell by the wayside and everything became streaming.
Netflix finally just this year canceled the DVD process just this year. It was
Wow.
still going on. They also said that if you have those DVDs, you can just keep them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, man, I didn't know. I would have ordered like 12 of them and never gave them back.
Yeah. But
But but there's other places too, and one of them that sticks in my mind as a kid was Pizza Hut. I know some of you are going to say Pizza Hut's still around. It's not the same. Okay,
right.
Pizza Hut has never been great pizza, but the experience of going to sit at Pizza Hut with the Coca-Cola lights and the old school 2-person video Pac-Man and the smell of the breadsticks and the red pitchers of Coke. It was a treat. And we used to do this thing back in the day. I think it was called Book It. And you had to read all these books. And you got this little badge with these stars on it. And when you got these stars, when you completed all the stars that you got from your teacher, you would go to, and you have this little certificate, go to Pizza Hut and get your free pan pizza, little personal pan pizza. It's like 2 pieces or something. I don't know. But I remember as a kid being like, and I like to read anyway, but I remember being like, man, I want that pizza. And the only way I could get my parents to go there, because they're not going to go all the time, I got to read these books. So let me get my pizza. That's just
Right.
for me, and I can eat the whole thing. I remember that. That was an experience to go, and those Friday nights were packed. And now Pizza Hut just sucks. But
Well, and I think Pizza Hut was one of the first and few pizza places that had a salad bar.
yes,
That
yes.
you could order a pizza and then for $3.99 or something you could add the salad bar, and frankly you'd end up filling yourself up with salad and. But they did away with the salad bars. Another pizza thing that came out is like Chuck E. Cheese and Dave and Buster's, where they were pizza places that had gaming and all that kind of stuff for the kids to do too. And then they started with the parties.
Yeah.
So I mean, those really were something until it got to the point where the rents in some of the malls where these places existed, and all got to be so expensive that they started downsizing or closing up.
Yeah, and I also think it was the options too. I mean, Chuck E. Cheese has always had really bad pizza, but it was the options that we were getting. Like maybe the kids were now not going to there; they were having pizza parties at their house with better quality food and a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
Little Caesars back in Michigan used to have one place called Little Caesars Pizzeria, um, something, and it was like a Chuck E. Cheese, but it was all Little Caesars based, and it was big. It
Yeah.
had dancing breadsticks. I'll never forget it. Like you push the button and the breadsticks were dancing, but it was very cool because it had different levels. So you had like the video games, you had laser tag, and I remember going there and always thinking, wow, why is there not more of these pizzerias? Because Little Caesars is fire. And this was back before the $5. Now, the
Right.
$5 pizza has saved Little Caesars, for sure, but that's no longer there. That's gone. And then you look at places like, well, Dave and Buster's is here, but it has expanded. It is not just pizza now. It is a full-blown bar,
Right.
full-blown menu. And I'm not saying it's bad. Matter of fact, they just bought Main Event. Dave and Buster's just bought Main Event. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, I don't know if they're going to keep it as Main Event or call it Dave and Buster, Main Event by Dave and Buster's or something. But they did just buy them. But it's a full-blown menu and bowling, and it's cool. It's just not the same though.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Little Caesars. Little Caesars also wasn't really great pizza, but I think their big claim to fame was the fact that every little league team, when they finished playing a game, it was cheap. Like you said, the $5 pizzas and everything. You could feed a whole baseball team, little league team for 25 bucks and all.
Well, yeah.
So they promoted the heck out of that.
And this was the first year. Look, it wasn't until I think it was maybe last year or 2021, 2020. This was the first year in years that they raised the $5 pizza to like now it's $6.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, Little Caesars wasn't great back in the day. The sauce was amazing. The breadsticks were amazing. It wasn't great back in the day, but obviously they're doing something right. You got Little Caesars Arena. I mean, the Illiches own the Tigers and the Red Wings. Like, obviously there's something right, But it's still, like you said, every baseball team, soccer team, let's go grab you grab 10 pizzas. You grab 10 pizzas from anywhere else. You're dropping hundreds of dollars. You grab 10 pizzas there. You got like $58, like $60. So there's other places though too, like Toys R Us is a big one for me. Now, I know people are like, well, Toys R Us is back. No, it's not. It's not back, guys. They filed for bankruptcy and they got these little small pop-up crappy freaking stores called Toys R Us that nobody cares about. The real Toys R Us, I'll never forget this one in Novi, Michigan. I think it was Novi. Maybe it was Canton. It was a behemoth of a store.
Like Walmart's.
Like Walmart.
Yeah.
You walk in and it had this little snake aisle. And there was all this cool little, sometimes clearance, sometimes random cool. And then you just had bikes, action figures, video games.
Right. A section for the plushed animals.
Yes.
Games.
Age groups defined.
Even the game section was youth games, puzzle games,
yes.
Video games, all that. Yeah, I remember.
I mean, it was an experience. It was an experience. And when Christmas came or birthdays came or holidays came, it didn't matter. If you needed a toy, you went there.
And every year, there was always one or two toys that every kid wanted. And Toys R Us would buy them by the hundreds and everything. And people would stand in line for hours waiting to get it because their kid had to have that toy, and it was the only place where they could get it.
You had the G.I. Joes, you had Voltron. When Super Mario Brothers 2 came out for Nintendo.
Transformers,
the lines, yes. The stupid Cabbage Patch dolls, Care Bears, all those things. I mean, like the big beasts of toys. I'll never forget that. And
Yeah.
and they're gone now. And then, you know, following up with the toy stores, every mall had KB toy stores.
Right.
KB was big. KB was like a mini Toys R Us. And quite frankly, for a mall, it was a pretty big store. I remember my buddy was manager at KB Toy Store. And when they were going out of business, they were marking down all their toys.
Yeah.
Granted,
that was one of the few places too that if you needed balloons for a party,
they had them.
they always had balloons. You could go in and buy them, you know, a few of them, buy them by the dozens, whatever. They'd blow them up for you. I remember you know, you better had to have a pretty decent sized car to stuff all these helium balloons into your.
Yeah, they had different sizes, and they were
Yeah.
cheaper than like the Hallmark and cheaper
Right.
than the party stores. We used to go though when they were marking down those toys. Granted, I was in my 20s, but we would go and we get all the wrestling action figures, the hard to find wrestling action. He would call us and be like, I got a whole box. We marked them down $3 a piece, $2 a piece. And we go in and just, man, there was something about those places that I don't think nowadays, I really don't, that people are going to remember. Oh, they're going to look back on 2024 and go, you remember when that one place was around? Nowadays, like
Right.
places closed. What about restaurants? Remember Bennigan's?
Sure. Bennigan's, I remember Big Boy
Oh, Big Boy, rest in peace.
for burgers. White Castle is kind of still around, but
White Castle's it's in Detroit. I've been there.
yeah, and then there were some clones. They had Royal Castle and they had the other ones, but that was one that I remember. What were some of the other places?
You remember
Baker's Square. Baker's
Square, the pie place, right?
Right. Yeah. That was another one where that was one of the few restaurants that was open till like about 2 o'clock in the morning. So if you went out on a date and all, you could always go by and have coffee and pie or something after a date.
I remember Baker's Square. So my grandma is my mom's mom. She was very much a late night person like me. Well, when I was working restaurants or doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing, sometimes my grandma would call me up. You know, this is before, like, she could text, but this was like actual phone calls. So she would call me up and be like, hey, what are you doing? And just start chatting, you know? And I was like, well, I'm going home. Bye. What's up? And she's like, I don't know. I was kind of hungry. You want to go? Her and I would go to Denny's at like midnight. I'd take her to Kroger to get a few things. We'd go to Denny's at midnight, which is still here. But when I was younger, and I would hang out with her, we'd go to Baker Square because she didn't live too far from there. Yeah. And we get pie. I mean, I am at midnight at like 10 years old eating pie. Like, there's the greatest thing in the world.
And there was another one called the Huddle House.
I don't know that one.
Huddle House was also one of those, you know, just really good. They had sandwiches and all that kind of stuff, but you used to go there for pie and coffee late at night, especially those of us that were on the radio, nighttime radio stations. Sure. You'd sign off at 10 o'clock or midnight, whatever. You'd hit the Huddle House on the way home to get something.
Yeah, I never heard of the Huddle House. That's cool.
Yeah.
Some of the other restaurants too, like remember Chi-Chi's? Yeah. The warm ice cream.
Right.
It had like, wasn't it like the flaming ice cream or some crap?
Yeah, what they were the first ones that kind of invented the fried ice cream.
That's what it was, fried. Yeah. I don't know what it was. Fried ice cream. Good. It was so good.
Yeah, and to today, probably the reason that you're even starting to see Walmart's close and Best Buy and Targets Banana Republic, Gap, all of these is number one, big pieces of real estate that the cost of keeping them open and but also online purchases. We're getting into the billions of dollars a year and people buying from their computer at home so they don't go to the store that's got all the lights on and they're open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And also they get help to be
there.
Yeah.
Well, Walmart did it to themselves, so I could care less if Walmart closes. But I got no love for Walmart. Best Buy, on the other hand, too, no offense, my buddy David works for them. Man, you can close every Best Buy under the sun. What is the purpose of Best Buy anymore? So they just announced, they used to be one of the remainders that had physical media. Okay.
Right.
And they would get steelbooks. That's where I got my David Bowie documentary, whatever the name of it was that you and I saw.
Right.
I got the super special HK 37 disc edition. But I got that there. It was amazing. They just announced that they are no longer carrying their physical media. Not only are they carrying it in the store, they're not even carrying it online anymore at all. So you can't order it. They used to specifically have releases for Best Buy. They have hacked the prices on physical, like whatever they have. I think it's come January 1st. I think it's done. I got like, I know it was Christmas time, but I ordered stuff for myself. I got like 5 movies. Like we're talking special edition movies
Right.
for $25. For $25. So you're no longer doing that. Your video game section is slim to none. You have appliances.
Well,
You have
one thing is, I think they
what's
oversaturated the market. They, if you didn't mind driving 5 or 10 miles to
No.
get to a Best Buy, but then they started opening them every 5 miles or so in every large strip center and everything, and they just couldn't compete against themselves.
Well, they closed. They closed. Like Best Buy was responsible for getting rid of Circuit City, another one that we used to go to.
A Radio Shack.
Radio Shack. I don't think there might be one floating around in Ohio somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what is the point of Best Buy? Like everybody orders. I imagine that most of the Best Buys will disappear or completely consolidate into just the appliance stores. There's no purpose for them. There isn't. And the physical media. I know people out there like Brandon. Why do you need a DVD? I'm going to tell you guys again. You need DVDs because you don't own the movies. When you have a streaming platform and you're like, oh, it's just streaming. When those contracts are up, those movies go to another platform when those licenses are up. And you think, oh, I can just buy it. Amazon lets me buy it. You buy it. But if Amazon chooses not to carry that anymore, you still lose that movie and you're crap out of luck with that money. It just happened with everybody that bought a bunch of movies from PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation library.
Right.
Warner Brothers completely pulled over like 600 or 1,000 titles and sold them to somewhere else. So you don't own those movies. So when you go back to watch it, you don't have it. That's why you need physical media. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one thing, we're going to be here. We ain't closing up.
Oh, Harmony House. Sorry, I got to say this.
Oh, there.
Harmony House. Harmony House.
You knew it was going to come to you.
Yes, that is one of my favorites. The memories of Harmony House, going there, buying records, cassettes, CDs, getting tickets. The ticket thing for me is just so emotional. I did a whole episode on it, but I remember.
That was the other thing. You went to your record stores, your local record stores, to buy concert tickets.
First come, first serve, man. We would spend the night. I mean, me and my buddy Ken slept in my car, my Chrysler K car. Just a piece of crap, just this little square car. But man, I rode that thing into the ground. That K car in January. No. Was it January? It might have been January. In January, in the parking lot of Harmony House with a snowstorm, true story, so that we could be first in line to buy Prince tickets. And guess what, baby? I was first in line because nobody was there. That snow was coming down. And we brought like our sleeping bags. And mind you, my buddy Ken's like 6 foot, So he's in the back, folded up, like hiding in like a hole, And he's got a sleeping bag. And we had food and some alcohol maybe. And we would turn the car on occasionally and crack the window because we didn't want to die.
Right.
I guess. I don't know why that was our thought process. And then we would just be like, forget it. And we're in Michigan and that snow's coming down. I remember a guy plowing the parking lot came by and like knocked on the window and he's like, you guys okay? And we're like, just waiting on Prince. We're good.
Right.
We got those Prince tickets, but Harmony House had all the releases too. I remember meeting bands at Harmony House and up and coming bands, and now you just don't. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some amazing record stores out here, amazing ones that I go to, but it's not the same. It's not.
Yeah. And of course, I remember the record stores that had the phone booths. And so you could
Yeah.
go in and preview all the songs, and you'd spend hours in there just
Just
listening to
listening to
music.
music.
You weren't going to buy anything. You just go in there and listen to the music.
But we did that. I think Josie Records still has that down in Dallas. Those guys are legit. But
Yeah.
I remember even there was that one place in the mall. It was something media in the mall, and you would go there, FYI or FYE, for your entertainment.
Yeah.
And they would have like the headphones plugged in to the
Yeah.
latest, and you could listen to that. And now it's like, let me download this song, let me do this, and I just, don't get me wrong, I do it. I
Yeah.
collect all
Yeah.
that, but there's something to be said about those experiences.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing it with us, and thanks for watching us. And we ain't gonna cancel nothing. We're gonna be here every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. Okay.
True.
So go out, make it a great day, and see you again next week. Bye.
See you guys.